going to showcase you now a technique, how you could use it with a client when you want to do art in therapy, after you've done the art as therapy. So the art as therapy, I asked Alicia to draw a picture of a happy experience when she was very young. A moment where you were really happy, and it came to your mind, and you chose to draw it. So for 1 hour, you've been busy doing this image. The start is, when we do art as therapy, we check in. How was the process? How did you go with the picture? So can you share a little bit with us about that?
Yeah, so I started off without judging my drawing skills, because I'm not up there.
Was it Christmas?
It was Christmas, yes.
I see the
A
tree
tiny
there.
tree.
Yes.
Yes.
So the puppy was the gift for Christmas.
Yes.
Wow.
Which is a very exciting moment for any girl.
Yes.
Or boy. So yeah,
So in that process, you also got emotional about anything? You said it was good and bad?
Yeah, so once I drew it, I reflected on it, and I realized that I was feeling really sad about that, because it was a beautiful moment.
So my attempt today will be, we're doing art in therapy for you, that when you go home, I'm going to give you a tool that can bring that connection back to your life.
Wow.
That you experienced here,
Okay.
at that time.
Wow.
Even though it's many, many years ago, we're going to give you a tool that you can just do something at home that brings the emotions back to you.
Okay.
You like that?
Yes.
Good,
Bring
let's
it
do
on.
that. Good. So the way I like teaching is a bit structured. So my students can really follow step by step. What the heck is he doing? So it doesn't become all this madness of counseling. So I'm giving you a very structured, clear approach that you can follow at home. That doesn't mean you can do it at home. To do art therapy requires a lot. There's a reason why it's a master degree program that takes 2 years full time. It's not something you just learn on the internet or at the TAFE with a Cert 4 certificate. Art therapy is serious. It's serious psychotherapy. And 2 years is probably not even enough for somebody to be trained well as a psychotherapist. It needs that depth and experience and knowledge. And you have to go really into that. Because we're going to work with the unconscious. My mom used to be a psychoanalyst, and she got trained for 7 years to become an analyst. So it's not something, so when you're watching this now at home, don't think, oh yeah, I can do that. Be careful with that. There's a lot involved. But I still wanted to show you what I'm doing. Early childhood resources is what I'm teaching. That's the technique. And the first step is the story. So we heard the story. It's Christmas. She got a puppy for Christmas that came out of the box, and she was sitting there, and there's her mum and her older brother. Yeah? Anybody else in the room? That's it?
No.
Good. So that was the story. Done. Number 2. It's a good feeling. ... So now, Alicia, I would like you to look at your picture and form a couple of sentences, and they all should start, it's a good feeling. Yeah?
It's a good feeling when your mum says there's a present waiting for you in the lounge room.
When a present is waiting for you.
It's a good feeling when mum shows you how much she loves you.
Yes. When mum loves me.
Yes.
What else comes to your mind when you're looking at the picture?
It's a good feeling when your family is together.
When my family is together. Anything else?
It's a good feeling to share a really special moment together.
Yes. share a special moment together. Good, that's probably enough, unless you find one that is really, really missing. When a present is waiting for you, when mom loves me, when my family is together, and to share a special moment. I said moment together. Sorry about my handwriting.
It's okay.
I would have been a great GP. Anything else? Or is that the main thing?
They're the main, yeah.
Good. How do we work with the unconscious? The idea is we allow the client to spontaneously just throw a couple of things at you. It doesn't matter what it is, just throw things at us. And then we go back to it. Remember the Freudian couch? Somebody's lying there on the couch and the Freud is asking a question and the client has to freely associate. The way that works well is when you keep you're going back to the associations and ask more about it. So basically what happens with the unconscious is, in this situation, when you're working with the unconscious, this is the iceberg again, these things that she said go more or less from the surface down here. Some are deeper and some are more shallow. So my goal is I want to go deep as I can. Some clients are quite defensive. They would say, it's a good feeling to be in a room. It's a good feeling to sit on a couch. It's a good feeling to look out of the window. So they don't give much away. With other clients who are more in contact with themselves and their emotions would go way further, like, it's a good feeling when mom loves me. You know, that's like gold. Whoosh. Really deep expression. So the more you do this as an art therapist, you kind of sense, ooh, we're onto something here, or, oh yeah, it's a good feeling to look out of the window. Okay, let's keep going with that one. So the way I'm going deeper is by asking for the next step. Let's have a look how I do that. So Alicia, you said it's a good feeling when a present is waiting for you. So look at back in your picture. What's so good about that when a present is waiting for you? What are you actually really feeling inside that you really, really like?
The act of someone who loves you giving you something special. They've thought about it and they've taken their time to do it, and then there it is in front of you. It's
and
exciting.
What is so special about it when they have thought about it that you really like?
They're thinking about you.
They're thinking about you?
Yeah.
What else?
And they're showing love by giving.
Yeah, they're thinking. It's a good feeling when people, or who?
When your closest people give
When
something to you.
Closest people thinking of you.
Yes.
Thinking of you. Now we could go deeper now. Actually, nobody put it in a different color. I forgot to do that. So now I just want to try to go deeper here, yeah? So when the closest people are thinking of you, what's so special about that? What do you really feel that
love.
really touches you?
Shows that they love me and they care for me.
Yeah, care for me. So when closest people love me, care for me, yeah? We're going deeper. We try, this is kind of the process. You go back and you ask, what's so special about that? And then they have to feel and see if they can go deeper. Sometimes you can't. But often with clients, it's quite surprising if you keep going back and back and back, how deep you can go. They might even suddenly go into tears because they really feel it, what they're saying. When mom loves me, yeah, that's so deep. When my family is together. Now, I want to know, think about your family. Alicia, look at them. Your mom and your brother. What's so special when you are together? What really hits you? Because you said you didn't have those moments later.
Connectedness. Together in the same room.
When my family is connected.
Yeah.
Can you say in a sentence, my family is?
When they are, Connected in the same room.
Is connected in the same room. Huh? Lovely, yeah? So we're aiming to go deeper. Sometimes you wonder, do we need the same room? Maybe not. But you never know. When you work with the unconscious, there's quirky bits in it that you don't even know. You think like, ignore that bit. I like putting things in as much as I can. Or go back to it later. Because you never know what that means for her to be in the same room. There might be a whole story for that. So let's just pop it there. It's a good feeling to share a special moment together. When you're sharing a special moment together with your family, what's really the good feeling here?
That quality time.
Moment, quality time.
Yeah.
It's a good feeling to have quality time. To have quality time. Good. So we have now quality time, we have connected, we have love and care. Yeah, it's a really strong emotions we're trying to aim for. So the reason we're doing this today, Alicia, is for you to have a tool available to you when you go home where you can create for yourself a moment where you feel loved, cared for, connected, and experience quality time. That's number 1. 2, 1, story. 2, it's a good feeling. Number 3, senses. So, the senses bit is the hardest bit. So I want you now to look at your image and think about this experience that you had and try to remember centrally what was the experience all about. Like, is there something when that puppy came out of the box, or your mom and your brother were standing there, or you were sitting on that couch? Centrally, is there something that just you so remember that moment of seeing something, hearing something, smelling something, touching?
The smell, the fluffiness of the puppy, me jumping out of my seat.
Okay, so
definitely the smell,
fluffy.
Fluffy. The newborn smell puppy.
Fluffy newborn smell puppy. Yeah. So we try now to look into that a little bit. That is a sensual experience. If you're trying to describe a sensual experience, you want scientific facts now. We got the emotional bit here. Done. Now we want science. But it's a bit odd, isn't it? With art therapy, you would think, there's no science. Oh, there's a lot of science when it comes to mental health. So let's have a look at the science. When you saw the puppy the first time, and it was fluffy, had this newborn smell, can you describe that a little bit more? Can you describe how the fluffiness, like if you would be talking to somebody who has never touched a newborn puppy, tell us, what is it like to touch a fluffy?
It's soft.
Yes. Soft.
There's a lot of separation because it's not all clumped into one piece, so you can sort of run your fingers through it.
Soft, fluffy, run.
Long.
Fingers.
Addictive.
Through it. Long. Long what?
Long hair.
Soft, long,
and
fluffy hair. No, addictive is in motion.
Okay.
Can't have that here. Soft, long, fluffy hair. You can run your fingers through it. How does it feel when you run your fingers through it? Not emotionally, sensory.
Oh, that's a hard one.
What does it do to your fingers when you run your fingers through that long, fluffy hair? This is the hardest one.
Yeah.
The sensual. You're not used to describe senses. Ticklish. Yes. Nice. Fingers through it. Ticklish. Yeah, love it. And what about the newborn smell? Can you describe to us?
Oh.
Oh, I know. What is that smell like, a newborn puppy?
Life. New life.
Yes, it's not sensory.
It's clean. It's pure.
Not sensory either, not sensory either.
It smells like shampoo.
What type of shampoo?
Like a really clean, like a Dove. Dove, do you know Dove?
No, I live on the North Pole. I've never smelled Dove shampoo.
Okay.
How would you describe a newborn puppy smell to me? I live on the North Pole. I'm an Inuit. I only know seals and polar bears. Sweet. Okay. Newborn, sweet smell. What else does it smell like?
Clean. Like it's. Oh goodness me, that's a challenge.
It is a killer.
It's a killer.
That's the worst. But it's so important. You'll see soon why.
There's just something. So, how do I get away from these words? Like pure.
If it's clean and pure, what is the smell like? It's sweet.
Fresh skin, fresh hair,
fresh.
Yeah.
It kind of can go with fresh. Fresh, sweet smell. Kind of. How do puppies smell? Imagine the soft, fluffy hair.
Yeah.
How would that smell of a newborn puppy? Don't try to be all positive. It might actually be a smell that is not necessarily positive. You know what I mean?
Like a bit of dirt.
Yeah, for example, or like, you know, sometimes you might love someone who hardly ever showers.
Yeah, has the.
But you love that person, so you don't care if he smells a bit musty or oily or something, because you love that person.
Yeah.
So in 20 years' time, you smell that oily, musty smell, and you think like, oh,
there it is.
That's like that person, like my neighbor.
Yeah.
So what we are describing here doesn't have to be positive.
Right.
It's just a sensory information.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess you could say a little bit oily.
Oily, yeah.
A little bit like earth.
No, newborn, fresh, sweet, oily smell. Oily, yeah. Whatever oily smells, yes. No, that's good, I'm good.
Like earth, like earthy.
Sweet, earthy, I love that. Earthy, oily smell. Yeah, that's good, that's fun.
All right.
Good. So if I do that with a client, we can spend ages on that. And then we could go through all the other aspects of the image too. So we find a couple of central things, like 2-3 different things, but it takes too long for teaching purposes. But with a client, I do spend a lot of time. And they all stress out because we are not used to describe sensual experiences. We just say, yummy, good, I like it. We don't ask, what do you like about the pizza? I don't know, it's pizza. How does it taste? It tastes like pizza. You know what I mean? So you have to learn a new language in a way, going to an art therapist, describing senses, sensual experiences, but in an empirical way, in a scientific way, not emotional. I like it. No, that doesn't count. What does the body experience? It's super important here. And I'll tell you soon why. After the senses, we're going to look at here and now. That's number 4. Here and now. So, senses, it's a good feeling, story, here and now. So, now go with me now with this one. Forget about the story here for a second. Is there anything in your life at the moment that you really like, that has to do with something that is soft, fluffy, you can run your fingers through it, it might tickle you? What comes to your mind?
I have a sheepskin.
Oh, you have a sheepskin?
That I take with me a lot of places.
You do you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got the sheepskin.
How funny.
I know. What are you thinking? You like it, do you? So the sheepskin goes with you to many places?
To many places, yep.
Yeah.
Workplaces and that sort of thing.
Is there something in your life that has a kind of fresh, sweet, earthy, oily smell that you really like? A scent or a thing. It could be also the sheep's skin, I don't know, but it could be other things as well that you really like. This fresh, sweet, earthy, oily smell.
I'm constantly burning oils.
Are there any fresh, sweet, earthy, oily, like a smell like
basil,
like a newborn puppy? That smell? Are you
I guess
drawn
my
to something?
perfume has a bit of leathery, oaky, tobacco sort of.
Yeah.
Smells.
So maybe perfume.
Yeah.
So the idea is, when Alicia was young, she experienced this year that she got this puppy in a box for Christmas. It's a sensory experience. Her senses experienced something, and it made her emotional. What she experienced made her emotional. So basically, the emotions are anchoring into a sensory experience. They're connected to each other. And that whole thing doesn't make a lot of sense unless I talk about trauma. The moment I start talking about trauma, it makes perfect sense what I'm doing here. So that's why I need to have a bit of a break, and you can relax a little bit. And I'm going to talk about trauma now. So when we experience trauma, the same thing happens here, the same mechanism, that the emotional experience anchors into the sensory experience. So that means, for example, a lot of war veterans who have been in a war before, like in Vietnam, it's a classic, or where else do we have wars all the time? Probably now the Ukraine people have a lot of those experiences. So you have an emotional experience, something bad is happening, war. People get killed. People you love get killed. People you love might get killed just next to you. The really important part here is sensory-wise what happens at the same time. So imagine you lose somebody who you love, gets killed by a bomb. So what's the sensory experience? The loud bang, isn't it? So you love the person and he gets killed by this loud bang. Those two connect. So years and years and years later, we know that from Vietnam veterans who 70 years ago have been in Vietnam, if they hear somebody out there who bangs the door of his car, he just closes the door of his car and makes this bang, what's happening to him? He's like that. Emotionally, he's back in a war. But not just a little bit. He is full in the war, 100%. He's re-experiencing the trauma because somebody is banging a door, closing the door of his car. It sounds ridiculous, but that's true. So it just needs this bang that he is going 100% into war experience. And if he has done that for 70, 50 years, over a long, long time, he's so sensitized towards that banging noise, and all what he pays attention is to noises. He's constantly watching out for noises, for bangs, for loud noises. He can see a psychologist who is desensitizing him against the noise. The war experience is still in him. The trauma hasn't gone. But he might be less sensitive to the noise. Always with trauma, that happens. You might be get assaulted by a man or woman who smells of garlic. And you're thinking, what? I'm not the type of person who gets assaulted. No way. This doesn't happen to me. And then you smell the garlic. The garlic makes it real, not the assault. The sensory experience makes the experience real. Because of the garlic, you know, oh my God, this is really happening. So 10 years later, You're going to a party with some friends in a Greek restaurant. There comes this waiter to you and looks over your shoulder. Can I help you? And he just had lots of tzatziki. Can I help you? And you are screaming and racing out of that restaurant regardless of the party. You just can't handle it. The smell of garlic, it brings back their salt. This happens to many, many people, and they're often diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder. Now you know that. A lot of psychologists, social workers, or counselors know about that experience. What most people don't know, I'm always amazed how few people in the world actually know this, that the same thing happens with positive experiences. The same thing. The great positive experience, like trauma, great negative. Let's talk about great positive. Great positive experiences, those really crucial ones that shape our life, also anchor in sensory information. So, if I want my war veteran to freak out, I bang some doors. I don't want to do that, obviously. But in a positive scenario, like with Alicia, if I want Alicia to feel that mom loves her, to feel connected, to feel quality time, to have quality time with others, to feel cared for and loved, I can do that by bringing the sheepskin to her, letting her play with the sheepskin, maybe some perfumes. And if I find the right sensory tool, it happens like this. It needs to be the right one though. The moment you know, the garlic, oh no. So the same thing happens in a positive way. The moment you hit the right sensory experience, you know, oh my God, I'm back with mom. Mom might have died years ago. Yeah, mom might have died years ago, but the moment you smell that, you're back with her. You feel loved. Your brother's back with you. We're connected as a family again, even though they're all gone. They might live in different countries of the world. Doesn't matter. Just the sheepskin brings that emotion back to you. Can you relate to that?
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, when I have the sheepskin, I have it with me in my bed. And when I'm sad, I cuddle it.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
So when we are sad, what we can do and what we can ask our clients to do when they're stressed and feeling sad, do the sensory thing from this picture. What we worked out in here and now. Yeah. Get the sheepskin, put the perfume on. A lot of my clients, they might go for a swim. They might go into the forest. They might hop on a trampoline. Whatever that experience was that made you happy sensory-wise, I ask my clients to do that. And it's absolute magic what happens to them. So this bit is hard because we have to find the essential information. This is kind of a bit like you're a scientist here. This bit is also not easy, the here and now. I call this detective work. Detective. And this here is the scientist. Scientist. The detective is not, so a lot of clients say to me, no Rob, I don't have anything that represents this. Alicia was a great client. She found something. Sometimes I have clients, they have no idea. So let me see what I do with those clients. But first of all, thank you, Alicia. That's all for today. You can grab your picture and sit down again. So with Alicia, what I haven't done is a detective work. So normally what I would say now to you, Alicia, go home and try a couple of things that bring back, it's about the sensory. It's actually not about the emotions. It's about this bit. So see what else is at home that is soft, fluffy, long-haired, where you can run your fingers through it, it's a bit ticklish. Then the smell of newborn, sweet, fresh, oily, earthy. Experiment with all those things at home and around in your life and see what of those works the strongest, making you feel connected make you feel you have quality time, because you're loved and cared for. They must be really strong, those emotions. And if those emotions happen, you know you found the right tool. And now it gets even better. The moment we have the right tool, we can instrumentalize it. That means you can just grab it and make it yours anytime you wish. And a lot of my clients say to me, Rob, this works better than my antidepressant. And of course I say to them, keep taking your antidepressant. I don't want to get into trouble with your doctor. But now you have another one. Something that works really well for you. And that's yours. It's unique to you. And this is what art therapy does. It doesn't give you a general solution for your problems. The therapist does not give you advice, what he or she thinks. It comes from yourself, the advice. You find the sheepskin. You find the perfume that works for you. What does Rob know what helps you? He has no clue. This is why art therapy is very respectful. We don't assume we know, because we don't. But we follow a process that allows our client to uncover what makes them feel better. And once you know it, it just works. And you can just grab it and do that as much as you need to.